Well, if you had told me 3 weeks ago or a month ago that we'll see Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo playing the semifinals of this Euro, I would have told you you're crazy, but it is true. This is what football has. Right now, Wales just beat Belgium in a very unexpected game, right? We thought that Belgium was going to give more.
Yeah, we couldn't imagine that scenario before the game, but after the game,
it's fair.
It's fair. It's totally fair because Wales has done many things very, very right. First of all, they
better than Belgium.
They found back very well of an early goal. And then somehow they have to start to control the game with the ball.
And they did that very well, controlling during the rest of the first half. In the second half, maybe defending a bit more from the Belgium attacks. But
they've been able to capitalize the two chances they've built in the second half.
2 chances, 2 goals, 3-1. It's true we expected more from Belgium, especially after the game against Hungary. And especially after the first 10 minutes, we thought it was going to be a little bit of a bath by Belgium, but they scored that first goal. And then just kind of, I think they underestimated Wales' capacity of reaction.
I agree. Maybe they thought that it was all over after the goal.
Yeah.
But I think they've lacked of a game plan. If the story of this Belgian generation, in football sometimes 2 + 2 is not 4. And it happens with these bright players. They are great individuals, but they do not perform as a team. And again, when the
maybe we have to consider the game against Hungary as a little bit of an accident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in the 5 games, that's the only game where they've shown to be a team, but it is not constant.
And if you go back a couple of years to the World Cup, they made the quarters, which is okay for this generation, especially 2 years ago. But they didn't live up to the expectations. And now losing to Iceland, to Wales, I think that this lose is going to be on the back of this generation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a burden for them. Yeah. Definitely. Well, Wales is in the semi-final. Portugal, they beat Poland in the penalties. I think maybe Wales, has done a better job to get to the semi-finals than Portugal. Portugal has been very inconsistent, but hey, they're in the semi-finals. Again with the drama of the penalties.
I think that Portugal has been gambling all the Euros.
They've been walking on thin ice,
and they have won in every gamble, but I don't see this Portugal winning a couple of risky gambles playing like this. If they don't increase their level, I don't imagine how they are going to beat Wales and eventually France, Germany, Iceland,
or Italy.
Yeah, I think, as you said, they've been walking on a very thin ice. They haven't won a single match in a 90-minute span.
It's true.
Which is
true.
They advanced because of the new format of the competition. They were the third.
They would have been eliminated in a normal Euro Cup. It is also true.
They are in the semi-finals. They are a legitimate contender right now.
Of course.
But in my opinion, they have to take their game to another level, because if they continue gamble, sometimes you get...
At some point, the house is going to win.
You get bankruptcy,
Yeah, you get bankrupt, the house wins. The truth is, Galacticos...
You go broke.
You go broke. The truth is, Galacticos, Gareth Bale or Cristiano Ronaldo are going to play the final, and that is exciting for us Real Madrid fans. Let's talk about what's going to happen on Sunday, and then what's going to happen today. On Sunday, France, Iceland. I personally think the epic Iceland story will come to an end against France. It's true they eliminated England, but England is a bit of a mess.
Yeah,
they have the players, and I think they haven't yet faced a team with that kind of organized and talented attack. And I think, facing France, especially if we see France like we saw them in the second half against Ireland, it's going to be tough for Iceland to compete. Yeah,
I think that today's result with Wales beating Belgium helps France to mentalize that every opponent can beat you any given day. And I think,
especially now, semi-finals, it's just 90 minutes, the emotional factor and everything.
They will be missing Kanté, who is suspended because of the yellow cards, and I think it's going to be good for them.
An advantage,
Don't get me wrong, friends, but Kanté is a good player. But I think you don't need that kind of midfield with Pogba, Kanté and Matuidi when you are going to face
too much muscle to destroy when you need more brains to create.
I think that the Sams is going to...
Like Kingsley Coman.
Yeah, they're going to stick to the game plan they used in the second half. He substitute Kanté and enter Coman. And I think Coman is very interesting for them because as a team they have difficulties to play on opponent territory.
And sometimes you need a guy like Coman with dribble, one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Griezmann, I think that he put himself in another level in that second half against Ivan.
Yeah. And this Euro in general, I think he's shown that.
Yeah, he has proven that what he has been doing for Atletico these 2 years, he can take the leadership of this France team. I think he's going to play a little behind of Giroud. And
I'm not a fan of Giroud at all.
Me neither, but in the second half, he helped the team.
Yeah, that's true. He generated those chances.
He headed ball. For
the pass to the
second goal.
Exactly,
and I think that it will be interesting if they are able to advance, which is a scenario we don't know. If then he goes back to Kanté, Matuidi, Pogba option, or he stick to Coman and that other one.
I think what is clear with France is that they're again walking on thin ice because if they win, they have done, as you were saying, they have done what they were supposed to do. But if they lose, it's probably the biggest upset in France's football history.
Yeah.
So you know they've been warned by Wales.
It would be like the Maracanazo in 1950 or the 7-1 against Germany. You know.
And well, talking about Germany, we have probably the most interesting game in this whole Euro Cup. Probably this will be, you know, if we see both teams at their best, it will be probably better than the final.
Yeah.
But I think right now the 2 best teams in Europe, Germany and Italy.
Yeah, for me, this Antonio Conte's Italy is going to be Joachim Löw's biggest challenge of Germany manager, because this Italy with this special formation with 3-4-3 and 5-3-2 when they are defending, I think it gives a lot of trouble to the opponents because they are not used to face that kind of systems nowadays. So
it's true.
I think this Italy, people can think tough defense. They are a tough defense.
Yeah, but when you play normally nowadays, when you play a defensive team, you're used to playing a team that is like holding back and waiting for you near their box. But they defend exactly not the case.
Not the case. They try to build the play from the back. They have the Barzagli, Chiellini and Bonucci with all the 3 of them know exactly where to be placed and have decent ball skills, Bonucci especially in long balls.
Yeah, more than Chiellini and Barzagli.
Rossi, we will see if he's playing tomorrow. The Rossi still is a very smart player. They occupy very good the spaces, and especially against Spain, in every moment a blue jersey was open. And it was
open, and when a red, in that case in Spain with a white jersey had the ball, like there was always like 2 or 3 blues around making the right pressures. I think, well, what I like about this Germany is like they're also a strong, tactical team, but they do have a lot of talent with Draxler, with Götze, with Özil, with Toni Kroos. So I hope to see both teams in an offensive version so that we can see a more open game, because it's true that this kind of, these 2 teams could play a close game where we don't see any really football at all. We see a lot of good tactics. Exactly.
And you pointed, they have a lot of players and they have different alternatives. And Löw has used both during the tournament. He started with the false 9.
The false 9,
It didn't work out really well, honestly. And then he moved to Mario Gomez, a classic number 9.
Yeah, that I thought probably a lot of you, like me, had maybe forgotten about Mario Gomez before the tournament.
And it will be interesting because I think that this Italy defense, this defensive system, I'm not talking only about the 3...
how the whole team defends.
Yeah, I think that what they want is you attacking them in the middle. If there is somehow are able to open the field, I think Julian Draxler, you mentioned him, is going to be key. If he can win one-on-one battles, if he can make take-ons, it will help Germany. Actually, Lucas Vázquez, when he entered the field in
the last 10 minutes or 15,
he was the only one who produced something. When you face a very organized defensive system like Italy, if you have players with one-on-one, it's money in the bank.
Yeah, it's money in the bank. They could, break that system. But, well, a lot of things could happen. But I think we're going to go in the France-Iceland with France.
Yeah.
Just to go mainstream. But, we could say Iceland and then, be saying if Iceland wins, we told you.
I think we're
going to go with France and...
The series of surprises in the Euros are done.
All right, enough surprises. So we're going to go with France and...
Italy.
Italy?
Yeah, let's
go with Italy. Yeah, I think Germany is my favorite team, but somehow Italy I've fallen in love with this Italy. So we're going to go with blue. Yeah, France and Italy. Galacticos, let us know what you think. Tell us what you thought of the games, what you think is going to happen. Give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.